When Elon Musk took over that platform, he put up the bat signal to those people saying, welcome back. This is now a free speech zone for people who want to spread the most vile kinds of content.
Social media's role in fueling the recent riots is going to be reviewed by ministers. It's been announced at the same time that it has been claimed that Elon Musk's X platform is the easiest place to find videos from the terrorist organisation Hamas. The anti-terror tech group, the Global Internet Forum to Counter Terrorism, is calling on Musk's company, calling on Musk to be axed from sitting on their board. In the last hour, the presidential hopeful Donald Trump has posted on the platform for the first time since last August.
The only crime that I have committed is to fearlessly defend our nation from those who seek to destroy it. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead. They want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. They're not coming after me, they're coming after you, and I just happen to be standing in their way, and I will never be moving. On November 5th, 2024, justice will be done. We will take back our country, and we will make America great again.
Well, Donald Trump is back on Twitter at the time of it is engulfed in a number of controversies. Let's talk to Imran Ahmed, who is Chief Executive of the Centre for Countering Digital Hate. Hello, Imran.
Good afternoon.
Good to have you with us. Lots of different aspects of this to discuss. Let me ask you, first of all, about those reports suggesting that it is all too easy to find videos from Hamas, which is a terrorist group, on Twitter.
Well, yeah, I mean, that research, which was done by the Community Security Trust, the CST, the leading organisation in the UK defending the safety of Jewish communities in Britain, is deeply troubling. But it's not surprising to us because over the last year and a half since taking over Twitter, renaming it X, what Elon Musk has done is turned Twitter, in one respect, into sort of a version of Telegram, that kind of dodgy platform that is used by terrorist groups around the world to communicate with each other, by essentially removing the enforcement protocols at Twitter. So they used to ban people who were spreading terrorist content, who were spreading hate, who were spreading disinformation, who were breaking their rules. But when Elon Musk took over that platform, he put up the bat signal to those people saying, welcome back. This is now a free speech zone for people who want to spread the most vile kinds of content.
So you're saying that, you're saying, sorry, just to clarify that point, Imran, you're saying that Twitter, or X as it should now be called, is now no longer taking down some of the inflammatory material that it was taking down before.
That's precisely right. And not just that, but the people who were super spreading that kind of hate content and the lies that underpin hate, previously they'd been banned by the platform. When Musk took over, one of the first things he did was, first of all, signal that kind of stuff was welcome there, but also he let back on tens of thousands of people who'd been banned by the previous owners, who had broken the rules again and again and therefore been removed from that platform. And it's not as though Twitter was ever very good at enforcing its rules, but what Musk has done is turn it into a complete sort of hellscape where anyone can say whatever they want, no matter how disgusting, offensive, or illegal. So what we've seen is that, but not just that. Look, let's be absolutely clear. We've seen this in the last few days. He has himself been using his privileged position to amplify disinformation, including lies about what's happening in the UK.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Elon Musk himself, at the time that the riots were at their height, was saying civil war is inevitable. He talked about two-tier care to amplify his accusation of two-tier policing in the UK. But yet it seems that no one in the UK is prepared or able to confront that. I mean, we can argue about it on Twitter, but there's nothing to stop Elon Musk making those points.
Well, there will be in time. The Online Safety Act, which was passed as an act of law in October 2023 after 2 years of debate and passage through Parliament, will have powers that the government, that Ofcom, the independent regulator, could use in situations like this, where disinformation is being spread that's having a direct impact on our communities and potentially putting lives at risk. But that legislation doesn't yet have force. So the actual regulator can't take actions until around the middle of 2025, once they've been through a series of statutory consultations. And the truth is that there are fundamental flaws in that legislation as well. The question now is, how can the government cobble together the resources that it has from existing legislation on malicious communications, false communications, etc., on incitement? How can it also signal to Ofcom and give Ofcom the resources it needs to be able to accelerate those consultations that it's doing? But also, there's this really fundamental question about the way that that our societies interact with X in particular, and our British advertisers and British businesses. Right now, X is a platform that Elon Musk is running an experiment. Can I essentially turn this into Telegram, but maintain the commercial revenues that Twitter was getting? And he needs commercial revenues because he spent a lot of money, $44 billion, on buying that platform. He owes $1 billion a year back to the lenders because he borrowed $20 to $30 billion to do so.
Well,
So
let me just take you back to
desperate for
this
those
point
revenues.
about regulation, if I may, because you talked there about the online safety bill. We've now got the government once again hinting at possible further regulation, saying they're going to review how social media and some of the content online may have fueled the riots. Are you saying that you think that this online safety bill, which went through all kinds of different changes over the months and years, it is now, as you say, going through this process of Ofcom looking at how it can implement it? Do you think it's got enough teeth? Does it need to be toughened up? And isn't there a risk, as many people have already said, that you just end up trying to stop free speech?
Well, I mean, the idea of it stopping free speech is bananas, because all they're doing is holding them accountable for enforcing their own rules, and where it creates human harm, that we can intervene and hold them accountable economically, financially for creating that harm. The First Amendment, I live in the United States, as you know, and the First Amendment here has a series of exemptions. You can't, for example, use fighting words. You can't incite hatred. You can't incite violence. You can't publish obscenity. You can't publish pornography. There's a whole bunch of things that aren't absolute rights on free speech, even in the country that has a First Amendment to protect freedom of speech. So we've always had limitations and ways in which people can be held accountable for their speech. When it comes to the Online Safety Act, we don't know whether or not it's going to work yet because we haven't switched it on. We've built the car, but we've never tried turning the key and seeing whether or not it drives. And we do know that there are fundamental structural flaws in it. I'll give you 4. Transparency. There's no actual right to data from those companies right now. And that's actually impeded my organization's ability to be able to give information to the authorities on what's happening. Algorithms aren't covered, advertising isn't covered, and AI isn't covered. We need these 4 things to be strengthened in a new Online Safety Act passed with alacrity, because otherwise, even when they switch on the car, there are still fundamental flaws that we know exist and that will have to be dealt with later.
Just finally, are you going to be looking out and listening out for the Trump Elon Musk interview this evening, which is apparently going to be on Donald Trump's newly revived Twitter feed?
Look, I'm sure that many people will be watching. I'm sure that he will say many things which are truly insightful into the state of the world as it exists right now. I'll be doing something more useful in my time, like cooking dinner for my wife. So,
Imran Ahmed, Chief Executive of the Centre for Countering Digital Hate. Really good to speak to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Steve is furious. It says we've been attacking Musk for days. The guy on now is also doing so, saying that X is much more important and influential than us at Times Radio, and you don't like it. We've also, though, had Alf saying on online safety, how is it many other countries switch X or other social media platforms off in an instant, and we can't? I think there might be quite an outcry if the government were to instantly move to block Twitter. But it's always good to hear your thoughts